Michelle Torrio, and this is the Be Mindful podcast. Hello, and welcome back to the Be Mindful podcast. If you are new here and you are interested in learning about mindset, manifestation, faith, self-improvement, worth, and so much more, then this is the podcast for you. So make sure you like and subscribe and follow wherever you're listening. On today's episode, we're going to be talking about self-love. So let's get right into it. Self-love is something that has been such a journey for me. And honestly, I didn't really start working on myself until I was fed up. I was so tired of just not loving myself. Not that I hated myself, but I definitely didn't value myself. And I really envied other people who had such strong confidence in themselves and they loved who they were. I didn't understand it. And I think the reason why I didn't understand it is because there wasn't a lot of people around me who had that confidence. But I remember growing up, and the one person who did was my mom. My mom had such a strong confidence in who she was and her worth. And I think the surroundings that I had from the others that I grew up with, and then also just being bullied at a younger age about my body and how I looked, really impacted the way I viewed myself. And on top of that, I was very hard on myself. But as you know, when we are born into this world, it's not like we come in having this negative view towards ourselves. It all stems from our experiences and also just comparing ourselves. That is the lack of self-love that we have when we do that, and when we have self-doubt, and when we are settling and having negative self-talk. I've experienced this time and time, and I did it for so long to the point where I'm like, no, it's time to stop, because at the end of the day, you go to bed thinking those thoughts about yourself, and if you don't change the way you're thinking now about yourself, nothing's going to change. A friend of mine actually shared with me that one of her friends is really struggling with self-love, and constantly putting herself down to the point where she doesn't even want to take pictures of herself. Not just pictures of herself, but even pictures with her friends. She doesn't even want to be in those. And those are memories that you get to look back on. But when you don't even want to take pictures with your friends, you're missing out. You're literally missing out on life because you are struggling with how you look. And you're not working within yourself here. You're not working on healing that part of you. Now, of course, we obviously always want to look good in photos, but it shouldn't hinder you from having those experiences with friends or family and being able to take pictures. So if you are someone that's really struggling with your self-love and you are just fed up, this is the episode for you. And I'm going to be hosting a free masterclass that's coming up. And it's all about reaching alignment and becoming the person that you're praying for. And in order to do that, you have to have self-love towards yourself. So if you're interested in that, keep an eye out, because I will be sharing that very soon. So when it comes to self-love, I want you to remember how your brain works. Your brain is wired to believe whatever you repeat. And this is why it can be very uncomfortable trying to change your mind and rewire your mind, because you are literally becoming a brand new identity. You're becoming someone that loves themselves, and you're just not used to that yet. And the thing about our brain, it's not trying to make you happy. Your brain is there to prove that you're right. So if you keep repeating this, you're just going to continue to believe that. So if you keep thinking, I'm not enough, your brain will filter your reality to confirm that. So there's this thing in your brain called a reticular activating system. Just view that as your filter in your brain. And this filter is what notices what your beliefs are. So if you believe you're unworthy, your brain will highlight that. And they will highlight rejection. It will not highlight opportunities. I used to also think that self-love was arrogant, but really it's our responsibility. So I really had to just start changing my inner dialogue. That's where it all starts. And there's going to be so much discomfort in the beginning, but this is part of the process. That's just what happens with change, right? For example, when you move somewhere new, that's a big change in your life, and it can be very uncomfortable in the beginning. For example, when me and my husband moved into our new home, It was very exciting, but my body and my brain, like I felt the discomfort. Like everything was everywhere, everything was in boxes. It was so disorganized. It took time to really make our home a home. But that is the process, right? Just accepting that you are in the process of changing into this new person. And you're changing into someone that's going to love yourself. That's the best part, is knowing your why. Like, why are you doing this anyway? Because no one's going to come save you. No one's going to change your mind, right? People can influence you, but at the end of the day, it's really up to you and how you want to approach this work. But you have to give yourself the grace that it's not going to be an instant change. So it's really knowing and remembering that new thoughts will feel unnatural. And that's because you're creating new neural pathways. So the key thing to remember here is that repetition and emotion create new rewiring in the brain. So if you say, I love myself, like without enthusiasm and really feeling that, you're not really going to change anything. You have to really feel into it and imagine yourself like, what does loving myself even look like? And maybe you don't know what that looks like yet. And that's probably why you might be having a hard time, because you just have never pictured that. So if there is someone that maybe in your life, or someone that you follow on social media, and they are so confident and you feel inspired by that, use that inspiration. Like, I want to be just like that. Like, that is so cool that she loves herself. Like, that's going to be me one day. I'm going to be able to be that confident and just see how amazing I am. Like, what's wrong with knowing that you are cool and badass? Like, come on. And self-love is not ego. It's alignment. You are made in God's image. You were made perfectly. So when you reject yourself, you're basically rejecting his creation. You were created through him. And the Bible does say, love your neighbor as yourself. And this is all implying that self-love is required. Like, God wants you to love yourself. God didn't ask you to hate yourself to become the person who you're called to be. He expects you to show up, right? And I do want to say, take what resonates and take what doesn't, but just remember that there is something or someone out there that wants you to love yourself, and you should want that for yourself too. So let's talk about the action steps you could take today so you can start working on loving yourself, and so you can start rewiring your mind and changing your identity into someone who has confidence in who they are. First is acknowledging your inner dialogue. Something that was really helpful for me is asking myself, what would I say to someone I love? So imagine you have your best friend and you're always telling them you love them, you are giving them compliments, you're always supporting them. But imagine your best friend was doing the complete opposite. Like, they put you down, they doubt you, they compare you to other people. Imagine that, right? You wouldn't want that person to be your friend. You wouldn't want them in your life. So why would you allow yourself to be that way towards yourself, right? You wouldn't allow someone to treat you that way. So don't allow yourself to treat yourself that way either. The second step is, once you have your inner dialogue, is really just disrupting the negativity. Like, catch yourself. Catch yourself in the moment. And sometimes you won't. Sometimes you just will go through it and then find yourself feeling these negative feelings. Your emotions and feelings, those are signals. So if you are feeling down, really kind of rewind in your mind, like, okay, what just happened? Like, how did I get here? How was I treating myself? And that way you can really determine what dialogue is happening in your head. And of course, don't be hard on yourself. Just kind of acknowledge it and let it go and replace it with something new. Like, what do you want your new belief about yourself to be? And it could be as simple as honestly creating affirmations. I love putting affirmations on my phone. Like, you could put them as reminders. I actually just removed mine recently because I just want to create new ones for myself. But those are really great. On the iPhone, you could set reminders and you can have them pop up based on location. And I highly recommend that for when you are putting your affirmations in. There was a time in my life where I was really struggling, and I remember I was going to a job that I legit hated, and I was trying to get out of that job. And every time I came to work, I made sure an affirmation came up for me to kind of just pivot my mindset. That is a perfect example of me trying to rewire my mind, and I'm not trying to force it either. In the beginning, it felt like I was because I didn't really understand that, okay, I really need to step into the feelings. Like, this is who I want to become. And that's something that I think a lot of people miss, is that you don't just say your affirmations. Like, you really have to mean it. And your brain is just always going to believe what you repeat often, right? So even if you don't believe it in the beginning, allow yourself to step into the feelings every single time and be okay with that. Like, you just don't believe it yet, but you're open to believing that. So just a little recap before we move forward. So we talked about auditing your inner voice, like your inner dialogue. And then second, recognizing like when it's happening and interrupting, like replacing the negative thought with a positive one or an affirmation. And then the third step is really the identity work, like questioning who you are becoming with the beliefs that you have. And don't ask yourself, like, oh, what can I fix? Like, you are just improving. You're becoming a better version of yourself. There's nothing that you need to fix about yourself. It's just letting go of things that no longer serve you and moving towards things that do and help you become the person that you want to be. And the last step is just repeating steps 1 through 3 over and over and over again. This is a work that can be really difficult in the beginning, especially someone who really struggled with self-worth. It took time for me to get to a point to where I am today. And just think about your future self. Like, what is it like to just not give a fuck what people think? What is it like to love yourself? What is it like to take care of yourself? Like, that's a big thing too with self-love. It's not just affirmations and rewiring your mind, but it's actually taking the actions with it, right? It's doing the things that give you joy and make you feel good about yourself. So if that's you putting makeup on, if that's you putting a cute outfit on, if that's you going to the gym, working on yourself and your fitness will boost your confidence, like guaranteed. And it doesn't have to be anything crazy. You don't have to go every single day. Like from the start, just start small. I always tell people to start small because you cannot become an expert in anything or improve on anything if you were trying to speed through life, right? If you rush through things. I have learned the hard way many, many times to stop rushing, because what's the point? Like, what are you rushing to? So on top of the steps I provided today, really look at your life too. Like, what are you doing to feel confident, to love yourself, to really be able to see yourself in the mirror and be like, damn, I'm fucking cool. And my younger self would even think I'm cool too. And I want you to remember that your life mirrors how you see yourself. And that's why it does manifest into your life. Like I always say at the end of this episode, and I'm going to say it again when I close my episode, is that who you are from within will always attract from the out. Because whatever you believe, you are going to respond based on that belief, and it's going to manifest into this world. So knowing that you do not become confident and then love yourself, it's you choose to love yourself, and then your brain's going to catch up. I want you to understand too that loving yourself isn't an option if you want to become the person that you want to be. If you put yourself down and you hate yourself, you don't like how you are or who you're becoming, then you're never going to become the person you want to become. If you continue to say that, like, I can never do this or I wish I could do that, then it's not going to happen, especially if that's what you believe. So be honest with yourself. And if you think you're being a victim and you're just constantly complaining and saying all these things that you can't be or do, then you are the problem, girl. And I mean that in a loving way. So if you're unhappy, then do something about it, right? We have so much power and we are so capable. And I will continue to remind you of that over and over and over and over. So I hope you leave this episode feeling inspired and just ready to be your biggest cheerleader. Because when you do that, man, you can go so far. And we are going far together. We are going to achieve our goals. We are going to be successful and we are going to feel confident doing it. And that's the end of today's episode. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you felt inspired, and just love yourself, okay? Please love yourself, go after your dreams, and as a reminder, don't forget to be mindful. because who you are from within will attract from the out. See you in the next episode. Bye.